Hello everyone! I made the tutorial for my 10 by 10 baby album. I am happy that I was finally able to do it. I will show you how to make the album step by step and explain everything. There are 4 parts. They will be linked down below. Let's start by quickly showing you the album that we will be making. A cardstock at 10 by 10, and then you need one at 10 by 11. So you're going to score at 1/2 inch on one side and make sure that you are on the 11 inches at the top. So it's 1/2 inch on both sides. So now we want to fold these up. What we need to do now is put some adhesive here and here. Now I want to put my 10 by 10 directly on top of this. So I will take some clothespins to help me keep it in place. So I'm moving the paper all around and I'm trying to make everything align perfectly. So when I'm okay with how it will look, I will begin to take the tape off. So I still press with my hand, I take my tape off. I just let it go and it lands on top. Now on the other side. Here we have now our pocket. So let's begin with our first page. Our first page is the sheet that has the 12 circles cut out. I used the EK circle cutter. It looks like this, the box. You can cut circles from 1 inch to 6 inches anywhere on your page. We will be doing a lot of measurements for this page. I did it this way so that we can know the exact locations. These are our 12 circles and they're separated by 30 degrees each. This way they're all evenly spaced, and I maximize the amount that I can fit into the 10 by 10 sheet. This circle size is 1 3/4 in diameter. That's the biggest circle I can fit without them touching each other. The circle cutter needs to know the center of your circles. So we will now work on finding out the centers of these circles so that we can know where to cut them. To begin, take a sheet that measures 10 inches by 10.5, and let's measure 10 inches. So this creates our 10 by 10 sheet, and this is the flap that will attach to the base page. So now let's measure the middle of the 10 by 10 piece. So measure at 5 and 5. Draw a line through that, and I'm using a pen so you can see my lines, and that's why I'm also using a white sheet, but you use your cardstock choice and do it lightly with a pencil. We have now measured squares that are 5 by 5. So these are the centers of our circles, but this radius that measures 3 7/8 from the center. So let's measure 3 7/8. Draw a dot right there. So you will need a compass and station it at the center, and then you will try to draw your circle. And I'm moving my page as opposed to the compass so that the compass doesn't move. So this is my circle, and it measures a radius of 3 7/8. So knowing that, I already know this is the center of one of my circles. This is another circle center, and here and here. What I need to know now is where are the dots that are in between. So I already measured that this is 30 degrees, but so that we don't need to use a protractor, all you have to do is measure 2 inches from this dot up to where you touch the circle. So measure 2 inches and then touch the circle and put a dot there. So from this dot to that dot, it has to measure 2 inches, and that's the distance to your second circle center. From there, now draw your other circle center, and then just to make sure, this distance is also 2 inches. So all of the circles measure 2 inches between. Okay, so these are all calculations that I did previously, so I know this will be exact. So now let's do it on this side, the same thing. Now this side, since it has to be the same as this, I don't need to do that measurement anymore. All I need to do is this dot, I can reflect it on the other side if I just cross the center of the circle. I'm crossing this center, so I know that dot has to be here. And then we have all of the circle centers that I will cut. So before we cut, I want to take my piercing tool and pierce these circle centers. And next, turn it around to the back, and you'll need some adhesive. I'm securing it to my glass mat so it doesn't move when I'm cutting. I take my circle cutter, and this is the tool. So I know that the size of my circle will be 1 3/4 of diameter. So that's where I place my tool. The center of this tool is going to be the center of each of my circles. So I will start on this one, and I'm putting it exactly on the center of my circle. This needs to be on the size that I want, and I want 1 3/4. And then I just turn it, give it a few turns, and then my circle is cut. I will come around and do all of them now. Okay, so now I have cut all my circles. If I lift my page, the circles should be falling off. I believe it's Fisker's oval shapes cutter. And then I just trace it. But for this one, I'm gonna take my regular craft knife and cut this out. To decorate it and to use your design sheet, I'm going to use this 10 by 10 sheet, and I have to punch the holes out of this as well. So then at the point where you have your paper this way and you have your dots still here, you can use this as a template. If you would like to do more than one album, use this as your template so that you can know where the holes go with all the other albums you will do, and also to punch out the holes of your designer paper. So cut a paper at 10 by 10, put it behind it, and take paper clips to attach it together, but make sure it's exactly on 10 by 10, leaving your ½ inch open. This will help us so that we don't need to do the measurements each time we want to do a new page. So again, just punch through for both pages. Okay, there you go. All we need to do now that we have our dots, we just need to go use our circle cutter. So this is my page for page 1. This is my designer paper. So I've taken my page, I put score tape on the edge and some glue around the circle edges. I cut this page to 9 3/4 by 9 3/4, and that gives me a 1/8 of an inch border around. I fold this back, and this will attach to my base page, and I have put 3/8 of an inch score tape on this side. So I fold it under like this. I take my base page. I have to select which side will be the spine, so just pick one side for the spine. This will enter the spine in here. Since it doesn't fit, I will need to miter a little bit on the edge. So take a small piece from the edge, cut a small piece triangle shape to the side. Same thing on this side. Then test it again to see if it fits. So I press it down. Then I need to make sure it's okay. I open it. And then I will take my score tape off so that it will attach. Take a little bit at a time off. Then take a little bit more at a time. Just close our page back. But this page always tends to lift up. If you notice, it doesn't stay closed. It lifts up from here. So I'm going to put some magnets on these corners. I have my basic gray magnets. I put a piece of score tape on it. It will be in this corner. And then I find its mate, put it directly on top of it. And then I cut some more tape to put over that. So I put the score tape facing up and the magnet in the same position it was, and put it directly on top of that. Turn your tape over, magnet in the same position, place it right back. So now this will glue here. When I close it, press it down. So now both magnets are attached on the other side. And then we're gonna need to cover these magnets. I cut some sheets of paper that I'm just going to place here and here. And just to keep the same pattern, I'm also going to glue sheets here, just to be consistent, even though we don't need any there. On this side, I'm going to glue this sheet over here. It will cover the magnets that are on this page. So if you didn't want to cut the circles out, you can just take your regular base page and you can punch out your baby's faces from the photos and just glue them on top this way also, and it'll be the same. So that's an idea. Now I have this design paper on top of my cardstock because the rest of my book will have a 1/8 inch border around, so I wanted the front also to be consistent. But you can definitely do this page just with the regular cardstock or another cardstock of a different color. That way you don't have to do the circle punching twice. So that's just some ideas. So now that we have the front done, let's work on the back. So this is our spine. This opens, is our spine. Now I decided to open it this way, but you can certainly have attached this to this side also and it'll open the opposite way. For instance, this way. But I have it this way, so my front, this is my spine now. So as I turn, this is my spine, and I'm going to add a sheet to this side now. And what I need here is a sheet that measures 10 by 10.5, and you're going to score it on the 10.5 inch side. Score it at 1/2 inch. So now fold this up. Noticing this is my spine, I turn it, and then I will be attaching this to this side. It'll open here like this. So I need to add score tape, and I am adding score tape to the inside of this flap. Now I need to miter these corners a little bit. So on the edge of my score line, just cut a small triangle piece off. Same on the other side, just go up to that score line. Let's test it to see if it fits. See if it fits and if it folds, and we're okay. Now we just need to glue it. I'm taking the tape off a little bit at a time. Let's fold again. Let's burnish. What we need to do now is to just put our design paper. I've chosen this paper for this side, and on the inside I will put this paper and then this paper. So we're done with page 1. This is the front of page 1, and on page 1 the top one is for the newborn picture, first month, second month, third month, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th month, and then the 1 year picture here. So it goes around like a clock. Then you can place your pictures, either you can glue them here on this part or behind this here. So if this was your baby's picture, for instance, you can just glue it behind there like that, or tape it actually on the sides. And then it would just secure itself back down. This section will be for pregnancy, and here as well. We will begin with page 2. Cut a sheet of cardstock that measures 7 5/8 by 11 1/4. So place it along the 7 5/8 side at the top and score 1/2 inch on this side, and then you're scoring 5/8 of an inch. So you have made 2 scores, one that measures 1/2 inch and this one measures 1/8 of an inch. Turn it this way. Now do the same scores. So we have scored all around, only on 3 sides, and you're going to cut the corners. So at each corner, cut here on this fold line here, so the piece you have left looks like this. Do the same thing on the other side. Cut up to this little square. This is what is left. So now we need to make a slit. Just make a slit like that, so that your small square is only attached on one side. Should be flexible. Do the same thing here. This is flexible and it moves up and down. So fold along all of the score marks. This is a pocket with a 1/8 of an inch gusset. So now we just need our score tape on top of this. And I put score tape on the tabs. So I want to remove the corners first so that the top can attach to the sides. So let's take this part off first. So I'm at this point and I want to tuck in the square and then slide the side piece under with the longest one on top. So I want to make a good corner first. Let me go to the other side. Just taking off a small piece. I'm tucking in the smaller side underneath the bigger side, and the square piece will go underneath that. So I push it in and then I press. So now I have perfect corners. So we're taking one of our base pages and this will be on the side. I'm going to remove some score tape from each corner. So we're making sure this is an opening. Make sure you attach it to an opening side. And you're just gonna go directly on top. Don't put it inside this pocket. It'll be just on the edge of the pocket. And then making sure we're okay, then I will remove then I'll just remove this one. And then the last part. Try to press that in more. But try not to flatten the top of your pocket. Okay, so this is our pocket page for page 2. All we have to do now is to put our design paper on top. So I have put my design paper on my pocket page. So this is a pocket page. It measures 7 by 10. I put some alpha stickers here for baby shower. This will be for baby shower pictures. So what we're going to do next is to do a booklet that will go inside here. To create the booklet, you will need 2 sheets at 7 1/8 and 9 1/4. So you need 2 sheets. Score 1/2 inch along the 7 1/8 side. And then you will need 4 sheets that measure 6 5/8 by 9 1/4. And put adhesive on the back of your pages except for one. 3 sheets have adhesive, 1 doesn't. And the 2 pages that we scored, put adhesive on the back of the 1/2 inch side. So first, take one of the sheets that is scored, fold it up. So the score tape is on this side. The sheet that has no adhesive on the back, you will connect it to this one. So you're going to glue this to this page. I'm going to take a paper clip to hold it together. And I will take my adhesive off. Okay, so we've connected these 2 pages. Next, take one of the pages that has adhesive on it and then glue that to this side. We're doing this so that we can cover this attachment. So I try to place it over it very carefully. Then I take my backing off. So now we have this page, and then it turns like this. What we need to do now is to take the next page that has the score mark. Take that second page, fold it up. You're going to attach this to this side now, like this. So let's fold it. Take your paper clip, so we align it. And then we try again to take the score tape off. We have another page, and then to cover this attachment I'm going to put another page here. Paper clip it. Try to be on top of it as evenly as you can. And next we're going to add our last paper on top of this. It's in the back. Okay, this is what our booklet looks like. It's very thin. You can see that there's no attachment. You can't see anything attached. And each page is a different color. And I didn't use papers from the paper collection. These were just papers from my stash. I didn't want to use it up in the booklet, so I just picked papers I already had. If you put 2 pictures on each page, you can fit 12 pictures here. So this booklet will go inside here. So in doing this, I did it this way so that I wouldn't have that much bulk. If I would have done it all with cardstock and then matted the cardstocks, it would have given me a bulkier book. And also I used the thin papers. Using the thin papers to overlay on this will also give you a thinner book. So there you go, that's the front of page 2. Now we're going to work on the back. And the back of page 2 will just have a flap that opens this way like this. So that page will measure 7.5 by 10. In the 7.5 side, score 1/2 inch and add some score tape. Make sure you're in the back of page 2 and that your spine is on this side. So we're going to take this page and put it on this side. We're going to need to miter a little bit. Let's see if it fits. Okay, that's just great. Now let's fold it first. Okay, this is what we have. It's just a flap. So to hold it down, we're going to put a magnet on this flap as well. And I'm going to put it on the inside. Take a magnet and some score tape. I'm going to put a magnet around the middle, but not too close to the edge. So I'm going to place it about there. Putting my tape over it. I'm going to put its mate on the top. Turning my score tape around and the magnet on the same position. And gluing it back down. So when I turn it here, the magnet should stay. Okay, so that's the place for my magnet. All I have to do now is to just cover these pages with some design paper. And this is my hospital page, just arrived. This is how I decorated. And I just put a sticker here that says "Welcome to the world." The front of page 3 will be the same as the back of page 2. So I need a page that measures 7.5 by 10. Score 1/2 inch on one side and then put your score tape. So take another base page, and instead of putting it on the left side, we will put it on the right side opening. So it will attach on this side. And I like to put the flaps inside of the pocket instead of on top of the pocket, because this gives me a smoother finish here, and when I put my design paper I don't see the edge of the sheet. All I have to do now is to decorate this page. I'm going to decorate it exactly like the back of page 2. This is the front of page 3. This is how I matted it. I did it just like the back of page 2. So these two pages will be the same. So now we're going to work on the back of page 3. We will need a piece of cardstock at 7.5 by 10 and score 1/2 inch, and then put the score tape here. So I have my score tape and I mitered the corners. Now I'm going to fold it up. I'm gonna take my base page, and this is the front of page 3, so I'm turning this way to the back of page 3, and this will go on this side. So this is the side that I want to fit this in. So now I'm going to place my magnets so this can stay. And for this page, I'm going to use my neodymium magnets. These are the strong magnets. I will match these two. I have already applied my score tape to the back of this sheet. So I want to make sure I have 1/8 of an inch border around the edge. Burnish, but don't burnish on top where your magnet is. So next is to work on the top of this flap. So now you will need a page that measures 6 7/8 by 11.5, and you need to cut 3 of those pages. So take one of your pages. We're going to do some score marks with the short side on top. We're going to make a 1/2 inch. So now turn this way, the long side on the top. Let's make another score line of 1/2 inch. Our next score line is at 4 7/8, and our last score line is at 9 1/4. So now go towards the corner that meets. We're going to cut this off at an angle, and we're passing that corner. So we're cutting that part off. We also need to cut these two sections out. So let's cut this part out. So now your paper looks like this, and you will need to do this 3 times. You need to do this for 3 sheets. So now let's fold. Take this to the bottom and fold it up. So now fold this up this way. But before we do that, let's cut a piece from here. So let's miter this piece to make it easier to fold. So we cut a small triangle piece from here. And now we can fold it better. Burnish again. And this flap, fold it backwards. This American Crafts cardstock is very good. You can burnish a lot and it doesn't tear. And also using this bone folder, it's from bonefolder.com, it does not leave your paper shiny. These other bone folders do leave your paper shiny, but not the bonefolder.com ones. So I burnish everything very well. And I open it up and I need to put tape here and here so that I can close it and it stays glued. So let me put some tape there. And then I just fold it forward. So align it straight. Burnish again. So this is a waterfall pocket. And this is the flap I will glue to the page. It will open this way and the opening will be here on this side. So we need to do this for the other 2 to create 3. So before we begin, we need to mat the top of this paper. Okay, now that it's matted, we're ready to put our 3 pocket waterfalls here on top. So let's start with the one on top first. So you're gonna try to align it in the center on both sides, leaving about 1/8 of an inch on each side. Just make sure you have an even amount of space. And you're gonna try to, from the top, line it up to about 5/8 of an inch so that you have this much space on the top. So once you're happy with your setup, you're going to hold the bottom flap. I already have my score tape on the back, and I'm just going to take the backing off and it will stay here. Okay, so I have taped my first flap here. You're gonna take your second one now, and just like a waterfall, you're just going to just line it up underneath your first one so that they will both open this way. Okay, so now we have 2 waterfall pockets already placed, and you need to make sure your opening for the pockets are on the right. Make sure that they all have the same opening on the same side. Our third waterfall pocket will also go here, but this one is a little bit short. There's going to be some empty space here, so before we tape that one, we need an extra piece to be here so that it'll fill in the amount of space. And this piece measures 6 7/8 by 2 1/8. So cut another piece from the same cardstock. We're going to tape it here underneath it, like this. I'm going to take my small piece and tape it underneath. I'm going to connect it to the bottom of my waterfall flap. So I'm going to turn them over. I already have tape where it's going to be glued to my page. I just need to put tape to connect these two together like this. So I'm going to take my 1/2 inch tape. I'm going to put this to the side, and I'm going to put it in the center of the edge, and that way they will share tape on both sides. So I'm just going to put some tape along the edge, and it will be sharing on both sides. So you can see that it's an amount of tape on the side. So I'm going to turn it now, and we're going to glue this here, and it will connect, and it's going to look like one whole piece. So I have to press it up against right along the edge. So make sure you're right on the edge and you press. You're pushing it this way. And do it a little bit at a time. So now it looks like one connected piece, and you can't tell very much that it was taped together. Once we put our paper on the top to cover this, it'll look much better. So all we have to do now is to put more tape on this side so that the whole thing can be glued down. This will be the part that's going to attach to the page. I take my page now, and again I'm making sure my opening is on this side, and I will align it again with the edges. Before we mat the pages, we need to add some magnets. So I'll be using the neodymium magnets. You need some powerful magnets. The size I have is 1 centimeter by 1 millimeter. So let me show you where you need to place these magnets. These are very powerful magnets, and I purchased them online. Let's start with the first one here first. So this flap, we want it to stay down like this. So I'm going to put my first magnet here. So I'm going to place it somewhere in the center here and put some score tape on the top of this. I'm going to take another magnet. So now I'm going to turn this flap down and locate my magnet. So it wants to lie there. I take another piece of score tape with the sticky side up. I pick up my magnet and put it down again. So now I bring my top flap down. And now this flap will stay down like this. So now I want to make sure the middle one stays down and this one stays down. So I will go all the way to the back, and I'm gonna put another magnet here. I'm gonna try to be in the same location I was here, so I will place it in this area. Remember that we attached another piece here, so I don't want to pass that piece. I want to stay on the top piece, just like if it was one of these. I'm gonna take some more tape, and my magnet needs to be around here. So let's take that. I'm gonna bring my flap down, so my magnet will be here. And then my next piece of score tape here, bringing my flap down, and it will attach here. So then it stays there. So this is why I can't put the magnet on this bottom part, because I need this to be stuck to this side, to this magnet. So now I have all my pages, and they're not going to open with these magnets. So now I will mat all these pages. So this is how I matted my pocket waterfall. I put red cardstock here that matches the dinosaur. I put yellow on the back and then green in the bottoms. So this is what it looks like. What I'm going to do next is to use some pocket pages. These are me and my big idea pocket pages. They're arts that are 3x4, 4x6. So I'm going to select 3 of these that are 4x6, and I will select these 3. So I'm going to use these cards to put them inside the pockets. So they're going to go in here, but I'm going to put a pull tab here so that it will be easy to come out. And I'm going to use these safety pins. They're colored safety pins. Let's use a yellow. I'm going to use a green and a blue. So I'm going to start by putting the bottom one first. These are 4x6 cards, and a picture can be put on the back of these. So I want it to slide this way, so I'm going to put a safety pin here. So let me use the yellow one. So I open up the pin, and then I just use the same pin to hold through, and then I close the pin. And that's how I'm going to use for my pull tab. So inside these pocket pages, you can put more than one tag in here, but I'm just going to put one for now. So now when it's closed like this, you can see the little pin sticking out, and these are your pull tabs. So we are now done with this page.